Mike from Metro Trail, some more history here. We're in Shawnee on Delaware, Pennsylvania, and we're looking at what they now call Fort Depue, but it's not. Let me explain, at least as best as I can. Before I go any further, I'd like to thank some of the locals that talked to me about some of the history of this site and the rest of the towns and anywhere we go. Engaging with these people always helped me to understand the places better. I have a book on the area that's given me a whole lot of information, but we get a whole lot more from actually chatting. We'll go about that a little bit more in a minute. So Shawnee in Delaware was first settled in 1727 by Nicholas Depue, but it wasn't him that built this. This is not the original Fort Depue. Fort Depue was a little earlier than this one. This is built in 1787, this house here. Of course, not with all of its additions. And this building here, although it has Fort Depue on it, is called Manwalamink. Let's go around the roundabout. Ev is still asleep here. So, the original garrisoned stockaded fort, known as Fort Depue, was, according to some of the local historians, a little bit to the west, which mean over in this area where these buildings are. But Manwalamink was built in about 1787, and it was built by Nicholas Depue, who was the grandson of the original Nicholas Depue. So it's a beautiful building, still well used. And the original fort, which was built in 1755, would have been over in this area somewhere. And of course there would have been a ferry over in this area as well. Now it's all part of the Shawnee village. So, very beautiful historic site here. I got a lot of this information and directions to more further reading from some of the locals, and unfortunately I've been booted out of some of the history groups, and there's a really nice trail over here. I'll show you where that is. It's kind of hidden. I think, based on the assumption that I'm totally for the national park plan in Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area, people are kind of banning me from some of the local sites, and that drives me a little crazy, because I never once said I was totally for the national park plan. I'd like to hear more about it. There's some people that are adamantly against it, and there are people that are very much for it. But neither side for a long time was really giving me any reason to support one or the other. So I've been trying to put up my posts as relatively non-biased, but Sandy Hull talked to me this week a little bit about it, and I've looked into it a little further, and there is some alarming stuff in there. One of which is, if it makes the national park, that there is a transition from forest to meadows, which means, of course, more logging. And we're seeing a lot of problems that are like this, where I'm not against logging, but I think we're seeing a lot of reaching for money and blurred political lines because of people exploiting what should be good initiatives for whatever kind of financial gain. And I'm just not for that. And we can't just be cheering for our side on everything. You can't toe the line on all these different things. There's a lot of things going bad out there that we've got to pay close attention to. Here's a good view of the Delaware River. So this trail connects some of the sections in Shawnee Village. Not a lot of signage for it, but it's a great little walk. So anyway, I got booted from some of these groups, and I'm assuming that's the reason. because it only just recently happened. And to me, that's just the most foolish thing in the world. You boot somebody out of a group that might have an alternative opinion from you. You're just creating an echo chamber, for one, of people that just all agree. And you don't give anybody the opportunity to even change their mind, because they're not going to even hear your argument. So you create an echo chamber, you're an idiot. All right, I'm sorry, you can't put it any other way. You're a complete idiot if you don't want to try to convert people. And if you're going to try to intimidate them by blasting them away from your group, how are you going to ever convince them or anybody else? You're just creating a culture of disdain and people being upset, and it's just not going to help anything. So don't dump people off. Maybe it was because I might have gotten a piece of historic information wrong on something. Well, correct me. And based on what I read, I might find something that disagrees with what you say. You know what? Convince me otherwise. Because I'll tell you what, I care about these resources. I care about history. I care about ecology. That's why I do this. I'm not getting paid for this. So if you have a problem with me and what I'm doing, my opinion is you have a problem with history and ecology. Because it's pretty obvious I love this. All my free time is spent doing this stuff. Anyway, thank you for listening to my sound off here. Yeah, I'm sick of it too, I know. A lot of good stuff coming up. I like to also promote local businesses. Shawnee Inn is a great spot. Come out and stay here. Do some hiking around the area. It's beautiful. It's a really nice time, any time of year. And that's about it. Thanks for watching.